The early 1990s, a time of neon, grunge, and dial-up internet. A golden age for video games. Sega Genesis versus Super Nintendo Entertainment System. A cultural phenomenon, playground debates, Sega's aggressive marketing, Nintendo's family-friendly image. The battle lines were drawn. Relive classic gaming moments. Buckle up for a nostalgic trip.
Sega's Genesis arrived in North America with a bang, boasting its blast processing technology. This marketing campaign directly challenged Nintendo, implying superior speed and performance. The Genesis's edgier design and focus on action titles appealed to an older audience. It was a bold move that shook up the industry. The Genesis's arrival brought arcade-perfect ports to home consoles. Games like Altered Beast and Golden Axe showcased the system's graphical capabilities. This was a huge selling point, allowing players to experience their favorite arcade games without needing quarters. The console's sound chip, while sometimes criticized for its harshness, also provided unique and memorable audio experiences. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega's mascot, became an instant icon. His speed and attitude embodied the Genesis's rebellious spirit. Sonic's games were fast-paced and visually impressive, showcasing the console's strengths. This blue blur became a symbol of the 16-bit generation. Sega's marketing was aggressive, often directly targeting Nintendo. Slogans like "Genesis does what Nintendo" fueled the rivalry and created a sense of excitement. This bold approach resonated with players looking for something different from Nintendo's family-friendly image.
The Super Nintendo or SNES followed the wildly successful NES. It brought with it a richer color palette, enhanced sound capabilities, and the innovative Mode 7 graphics. This technology allowed for scaling and rotation effects, creating a sense of depth and immersion previously unseen in console games. Nintendo continued its focus on family-friendly entertainment. The SNES library featured beloved franchises like Mario, Zelda, and Metroid. These games showcased the console's technical prowess and cemented Nintendo's reputation for quality. The SNES controller, with its shoulder buttons and diamond layout, became a standard for future gamepads. Its ergonomic design and added buttons allowed for more complex gameplay. This innovation contributed to the SNES's lasting legacy. While Sega targeted older audiences, Nintendo maintained its broad appeal. The SNES offered games for everyone, from casual players to hardcore enthusiasts. This inclusive approach helped solidify Nintendo's position as a leader in the industry.
The rivalry between Sonic and Mario became the defining clash of the 16-bit era. Sonic's speed and attitude contrasted sharply with Mario's more traditional platforming gameplay. Both mascots became synonymous with their respective consoles. Sonic the Hedgehog's fast-paced action and vibrant levels showcased the Genesis's technical capabilities. The game's soundtrack, composed by Masato Nakamura, became an iconic piece of video game music. Super Mario World introduced Yoshi, Mario's dinosaur companion, and a vast, interconnected world map. The game's colorful graphics and innovative gameplay mechanics set a new standard for platformers. These flagship titles weren't just games, they were symbols of each console's identity. The choice between Sonic and Mario often defined a player's allegiance in the console wars.
Section 5. Beyond the mascots, exploring genre diversity. While the mascots dominated the marketing, both consoles boasted diverse game libraries. The Genesis offered a strong lineup of arcade-style beat-em-ups and sports titles. The SNES excelled in RPGs and adventure games. The Genesis was home to Streets of Rage, a side-scrolling beat-em-up known for its gritty atmosphere and catchy soundtrack. Sports fans enjoyed titles like NHL '94, considered by many to be one of the best hockey games ever made. The SNES boasted classic RPGs like Chrono Trigger, a time-traveling adventure with innovative gameplay and a memorable story. The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, redefined the action-adventure genre with its expansive world and engaging dungeons. This diversity ensured that both consoles offered something for everyone. Whether you preferred fast-paced action, immersive RPGs, or challenging platformers, there was a game for you.
Section 6. Hardware Showdown, Bits, Colors and Sound. The technical specifications of each console fueled the debate among gamers. The Genesis boasted blast processing, while the SNES emphasized its Mode 7 graphics. Each system had its strengths and weaknesses. The Genesis's processor could handle fast-paced action, but its color palette was more limited than the SNES. The SNES's processor was slower, but its graphics were more vibrant and detailed. The sound capabilities of each console were also a point of contention. The Genesis's sound chip was known for its distinct, sometimes harsh, sound. The SNES's sound chip offered a richer, more nuanced audio experience. These technical differences contributed to the unique look and feel of each console's games. The choice often came down to personal preference, speed and action versus vibrant visuals and immersive sound.
Section 7, Marketing Mayhem, Aggressive versus Family Friendly. Sega's marketing was famously aggressive, directly targeting Nintendo with slogans like "Genesis does what Nintendo don't." This edgy approach resonated with older players. Nintendo maintained its family-friendly image, appealing to a broader audience. Sega's commercials often featured a rebellious attitude, showcasing the Genesis's cool factor. This approach helped establish the console as the alternative to Nintendo's more traditional image. Nintendo's marketing focused on fun and inclusivity, emphasizing the social aspect of gaming. Their commercials often featured families and friends enjoying games together. These contrasting marketing strategies further defined the rivalry between the two consoles. Sega's aggressive approach created a sense of excitement, while Nintendo's family-friendly image reinforced its established brand.
Section 8, the cultural impact shaping a generation. Both the Genesis and SNES left an indelible mark on popular culture. They shaped the gaming landscape and influenced countless other forms of media. Their impact can still be felt today. The Genesis introduced a new level of edginess to video games, paving the way for more mature titles. Its influence can be seen in later consoles and games. The SNES solidified Nintendo's position as a family-friendly entertainment giant. Its impact on gaming is undeniable, with many of its franchises still thriving today. These consoles were more than just gaming devices. They were cultural touchstones. They defined a generation and continue to inspire nostalgia and fond memories.
Section 9, Nostalgia and Legacy, Why We Still Love Them. Decades later, the Genesis and SNES continue to be celebrated by gamers. Nostalgia plays a significant role, but their lasting appeal goes beyond sentimentality. The games themselves hold up remarkably well. The classic titles from both consoles remain enjoyable today, thanks to their tight gameplay and timeless design. Many of these games have been re-released on modern platforms, introducing them to new generations of players. The music from these games has also endured, with many soundtracks considered iconic. The catchy melodies and unique sound design evoke a sense of nostalgia and fondness. The Genesis and SNES represent a golden age of gaming. They remind us of simpler times and the pure joy of playing video games. Section 10. The verdict, it's up to you. So which side are you on? Were you a Sega kid, drawn to the Genesis's speed and attitude? Or were you a Nintendo fan, captivated by the SNES's colorful worlds and iconic characters? The choice is yours. Both consoles offered unique and memorable gaming experiences. The Genesis provided fast-paced action and arcade-perfect ports. The SNES delivered vibrant graphics, innovative gameplay, and beloved franchises. Ultimately, there is no right or wrong answer. Both consoles contributed to the evolution of gaming and shaped the industry as we know it today. The console wars of the 1990s may be over, but the legacy of the Genesis and SNES lives on. Which console holds a special place in your heart?
Hey, Mega here. The Sega Genesis held a special place in my heart. It was my system growing up. I had a neighbor and a best friend who had a SNES. We would play with each other's console, but I was really happy with my Sega Genesis. In the 90s, after I came from school to go home, I was happy that my Sega Genesis was there for me to play. I thank God for that console. I was able to take my mind off of the craziness of the world so that I could play with my fantastic games. So which system did you grow up with in the decade of the 90s? And as always, may God continue to bless you and may heaven smile upon you. Thank you very much.